All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is 2:30 Eastern, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First off, I want to thank you for joining us today. My name is Bethany Spaeth, and I am the Director of Implementation here at Presto Sports. Welcome to our second webinar in our summer webinar series. Today, in addition to myself, Josh Fowler is also joining us. Today, we will be covering how you can maximize your time by utilizing the newest product, PrestoAI. Before we officially dive in, though, let's cover a few housekeeping tips. If you have any questions during today's presentation, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box. If your question does not get answered during today's session, please know that we will follow up with you personally after today's presentation. Additionally, we will have a few poll questions throughout the presentation. Please be sure to submit your responses in the pop-up windows. Last piece of housekeeping, the webinar is being recorded and will be shared with you within the next few days. We're honored to have Josh Fowler with us here in our virtual studio to shed light on this very interesting topic. Josh is the innovative mind behind PrestoAI and the Director of Product and Development here at Presto Sports. With a passion for technology and a knack for creating cutting-edge products, Josh has become the driving force behind major improvements and the maintenance of Presto Sports' existing systems. He joined the team after the ScoreShots acquisition and since has dedicated himself to delivering the best possible user experience for athletic departments and sports fans alike. With his innovative approach and unwavering commitment to excellence, Josh is a true force to be reckoned with in the world of sports technology. And in case any of you are wondering, PrestoAI helped me write Josh's intro today. So to start, we're first going to review why artificial intelligence. AI can help save time and effort by automating the writing process, allowing athletic departments to increase the volume of articles at a faster rate, allowing them to keep up with the demands of the industry. With the ability to generate content quickly and effectively, AI uses data to analyze the information, and it allows it to create unique and insightful content, helping you to stand out in a crowded market. As mentioned, AI provides a number of benefits to you in your day-to-day functions. Some that we will focus on today are optimizing performance and revolutionizing efficiency. By automating the data collection and analysis process, AI can enhance the efficiency of writing articles, freeing up your time to concentrate on managing day-to-day activities in your athletic department. It can also improve precision and accuracy. AI can analyze vast amounts of data and provide insights into player statistics and game performance, leading to more accurate and comprehensive pre- and post-game releases. Lastly, enhancing and increasing the quality of your releases. AI allows you to have a comprehensive and timely sports news releases while using natural language processing to create engaging and easy to read content for your fans. If you want to take a second and answer the poll on the screen. Okay, David, you can go ahead and close that poll. Thank you. Okay, so now let's talk about why you should choose PrestoAI for your organization over some of the other AI tools that are out there. PrestoAI is fully integrated with the Presto Web CMS platform, allowing users to enter a prompt directly into the text editor and generate an article on their input. Users will be able to select a game recap as well to create an article within a few clicks. With an integrated Presto Web and Presto Stat solution, game information will generate within seconds. Currently, PrestoAI is available within any of the Presto CMS text editors. So this could be in your player bios, in addition to your articles, in addition to your news releases, really anywhere you can update your text within the website. Okay, if you want to take a second and answer the second question we have on screen. Okay, David, if you want to go ahead and close that. I do see a hand raised. If you just want to enter your question into the Q&A, we'll take a look and respond back to you. In the meantime, I am going to pass it over to Josh, and he's going to show us a demo of PrestoAI.
Hello, everyone. As Bethany said, my name is Josh Fowler. I head up product and development here at Presto, and we've worked hard on this new product. First, I wanted to start with a demo. Before we go into that, I just wanted to say that these were pre-recorded. The first one that we're going to do is we're going to show you what it's like now. So we had a phase 1 and a phase 2. Phase 1, we brought the prompt. You would fill in the information yourself, and then we hit generate, which would make the article. Phase 2 is where you would select the event based on dropdowns. I also have a video with that on where we're at with it. So first, we're going to start with the first video. So if you're familiar with our system, you'll see that we're at the season, the event page. And what you'll do is on this event page, you're just going to hit box score. So I've spent a lot of time teaching this AI how to read stats, the abbreviations, sports terminology. I've also taught it how to read XMLs, and I've taught it how to read these box scores. Box scores are the best way to get the information you need into the AI. Reason being is XML has everything. XML will do play-by-play, and the AI may take every single one and put that in there. The idea with the box score is it only gives you the highlights. So with that, I do want to back up just a second. If you'll notice right here, I said analyze the baseball data below and recap into a detailed article. So I'll go over this here in a few minutes, but in this, there are certain keywords: analyze, baseball data, and detailed article. The more information that you give the AI, the more information that you're going to get back. Let's say you want an article with bullet points. So you can say, I want a detailed article with bullet points from the game. And it will give you an article with bullet points of statistics from the game. All right. Going forward, this is where we paste the box score in. And then we'll have our level of creativeness, which I'll go into more here in a little bit. Now, when we hit generate article, this is where the AI takes all those statistics, they analyze it, they build it into an article. Now, the way the AI has learned is it's read thousands and thousands of these types of articles, and it formats it in a way that is similar to the articles that it's been taught. Give another second. It takes about 30 seconds to make that article. So now you can see. And you don't have to read this all now if you're trying to read it. We'll probably go on to the next slide in a second, but we will share this out later on. And you're welcome to, read it then.
Hey, Josh, we're going to pop up a poll question so they can take a peek and answer the poll at the same time.
Yes. So actually, I was hoping, I'm trying to get more information myself. So you see these poll questions coming up. I'm trying to find out what you used, who uses it, how many hours a week you spend on writing these articles, different information to help us better design these products. If I know who's using it, I know who to design it towards. So the more you answer, the better off. All right. Okay. Yeah. Sports information directors. That's what I figured. All right, we're going to go on to our next article. Okay, so this article, or I'm sorry, this demo, what you saw before, that was phase 1. That is currently what's live in the system. You can already go in. If you have CMS now, you already see the button. You're able to purchase AI to activate the button and already start using it. This is what's coming. So phase 2 is where I want to skip that whole copy and paste phase of the box score, where you'll select from a drop down, you'll select the event, and then that will pre-populate the box where you can ask it what you want from the box score, and then it'll make the article. Now, just a little something here. This is what's on the development server. So the UI is probably going to change. Some of the wording is going to change. This is our first peek at it. So don't judge on what it looks like. All right. So as you can see, there's our PrestoAI button, and it brings up our screen. And the UI is a little different from the last screen. And you can see it says select for building event prompt. We're definitely going to change that because that makes no sense. But either way, this is just to show functionality. So you're going to select the team based on what sports are activated for that team. You're going to select the sport based on what seasons are activated for that sport and that team. You're going to select the season, and then you're going to select the event based off of that season. What it's going to do is it's going to automatically put in that first prompt of analyze baseball data and recap into an article. Now, I will say right here, you'll notice that it says recap into an article. The last time I said recap into a detailed article. The reason we did that in this demo is just to make it faster. So the shorter that the AI has to write something, the faster it is. So you'll notice that this article is a little bit smaller than the other article we saw a moment ago. But if you actually said, I want a detailed article, or if I want an article that's 5 pages long, or not 5 pages, I definitely wouldn't do that. An article that's 5 paragraphs long, it'll create that. The more you give it, the more it's going to give back. All right. So one of our most asked questions is, how accurate is it? So in the Help Center, I've written this long article on how to use it efficiently, how to get the best out of your AI, and how to get it as accurate as you can. Remember, the AI only gives you what you give it. So first, I detail the keywords within the article. And we don't have to go over all this. This is very long-winded, but this is part of the Help Center where it gives certain keywords. So if you want to, for example, analyze box score, that's the keyword you would use, analyze. and you would say baseball data or football data, things like that. Summarize, that's where you can take, and recap documents. Like, let's say you told it, I want a detailed article, and it gave you 7 paragraphs. Well, you can turn around and take that detailed article and say, summarize the article below back into the AI, and it gives you a shorter version of it. Again, like if you say facts, you can say, I want a detailed article with factual bullet points, and it will look up the facts that it knows. If you've tried our demo, which we already have a demo on the site that you can try out yourself. If you've tried it out, one of the suggestions is, hey, give me 10 facts about the NCAA or the NAIA. And it will give you 10 facts about those organizations. With that, it only knows data right now up until September 2022. It's constantly learning more. In fact, I've been starting to teach it historical events or events in our system. So right now I'm teaching it last seasons. Once I'm done with last seasons, I'll start with this season's. So if you're a customer of ours, it will have recaps and box scores of each event. So with that, you'll be able to say, hey, last season we ranked this high. Looking at our season so far this year, where are we lacking? And it should be able to say, hey, listen, your rebounds are looking rough. Maybe you should practice more on your free throws, things like that. That's a long-term goal of this AI is to be able to analyze these stats across the board, across different teams, across different seasons, and be able to help you. The creativeness parameter. So you'll notice on there, there's a drop down. It goes from 0 to 10. The closer it is to 0, the closer to factual it's going to be, or it's only going to give you what you give it. The closer to 10, the more it's going to get creative. So there's a couple things that happen here. It's gone out and it's read thousands and thousands of articles like this. So when you ask it to write an article, it's going to mimic those type of articles. For example, if in, let's say 50% of the articles that it reads that there's a quote, and you say creative factor of 7, it's going to say, well, half and half, I see quotes. I'm just going to add a quote in there that you can go back and edit and put in a quote. It got creative, so it didn't put in what you gave it. So while it'll put a quote, that's not something that was actually said. So you'll want to go back and edit it. It's giving you what an article would normally look like. And I always suggest going back and reading it and editing it. And if you don't want a quote, just remove the quote. But it's saying most articles that it sees like this, there's normally a quote. If it's closer to 0, again, it's only going to give you what it got. It's not going to add to it. It's not going to put in anything that it normally sees. It's just going to give you what it's got. And I'll give this example. So if you were to say, my favorite animal is to the AI, if it's at a 0, it's going to say cat 100% of the time. Because statistically, from what it's learned, a cat is the most popular house pet around the world. Now, once you start getting into, let's say, a 5, it's going to vary from that because it knows of other house pets. It's going to start saying dog, lizard, hamster. It starts to vary from that. Now, if you say a 10, it's going to throw you everything. It's going to be like a tree, rock, a computer, things like that. So it has some type of creativeness to it based on statistical data based on how probability. So I usually suggest a 5. A 5, it will take what it has, what you give it, make the article, and maybe add a little flair to it. Again, I always suggest going back and reading it, but a 5 is a good medium to where it'll have that little bit of flair that you'll see in articles that's easy to read. Because if you start saying 0 across the board, I can guarantee it's going to be dry, monotoned, and it's only going to be a couple sentences. All right, so we kept our presentation kind of quick, just because usually Q&A gets a little longer with these type of sessions. First one, I'll go over. If you want to start putting in your questions in that Q&A button, if you have any, you can go ahead and start doing that. Also, if you have any other questions, that you want to put in chat or anything like that, I will go ahead and start. So one question, is this going to replace jobs? We're not here to replace jobs. We're here to try to get you home before dinner. I hear a lot of feedback from SIDs, athletic directors, things like that, to where you may have 6 games in a day, and at the end of the day it's 10 p.m. and you now have to write 6 articles to post at a page. Takes 30 minutes longer per page, per article. You're not getting home till after midnight. So the idea is we're here to save you time and try to get you home earlier, where you can take that 30 minutes of article writing and turn it into 30 seconds. You get home a lot quicker. So we're not trying to replace jobs. We're trying to help you all and hopefully be a little more efficient.
I just wanted to give a reminder. I see a few hands being raised. If you can click that Q&A box down at the bottom, that'll be the best way to get your question over to us.
Yeah, we the way this was set up as a webinar, we do not have the ability to unmute you. So your best way is to hit that Q&A button to be able to ask your questions.
And Josh, another question came in. Is this available currently to only Presto Web customers, or is it available to if they use a different website platform?
Okay, it is only available to Presto Web clients currently. Long term, we do plan on making a standalone version, but there's no ETA on that right now. It may not be till late next year. I'm been trying hard to train the AI as much as I can with events and data. And then past that, we'll work on a standalone version. But right now, it's only available to Presto Web clients.
Thank you. Another one came in. When can we expect phase 2?
So phase 2 is in development now. We're going to finish it up within the next 2 weeks. Then it will go live roughly 2 to 3 weeks after that. So we're looking at by the 1st of August, we will have phase 2 in. Pretty much before fall sports start, we'll have phase 2 in where you can start selecting your events.
Perfect. Another one is, how do I try the demo?
Okay, trying the demo. So we do have a demo. Unfortunately, we do not have it on this webinar, but what I could do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be sent.
So there will be a follow-up email and it will have a link to the demo. You can also go straight to the prestosports.com website, and under Presto Web, you'll find the AI section and be able to click the demo link there also.
one question that came in from Doug, does it follow AP format as most news releases do?
Since that's what it's learned, yes. It does pretty good at following those AP formats. You can actually specifically ask for an AP format and it will give you that. If you don't ask for an AP format, there's a chance that it may not. But you know, it only gives you what is asked. So be sure to ask that. All right. We're still seeing some raised hands. Again, we can't unmute, but if you want to type the question out.
If you hover over your screen that you have the window on, the Q or the bar at the bottom should appear, and Q&A is in the center. If you don't get your question asked, we'll shoot you an email following the session.
You can always follow up with us also on any questions you have.
Okay, we'll give it about another minute or so. If anyone else, Josh, is there anything you wanted to touch on?
No. You saw what's coming with phase 2. Phase 3, we're going to start getting into more drop downs for things like game MVP, player of the week, different awards. We're going to get into more and more drop down for quick entry in there. So we'll have all kinds of stuff coming. We're dreaming up ideas as we speak.
Okay, actually, David, I think the can you make sure all Q&A is turned on? Thank you. We did have a couple more questions come in. The first one, what is the ballpark cost, or is it client dependent? It is technically client dependent. So if you follow up after the call, there'll be a form that you can complete if it is something that you're interested in purchasing. And then you will be routed to a client success manager, and they will get in touch. We will also have our standard Shopify link. The Shopify does have the list price of $1,200. Right now it's priced at $1,200 for the year. If you're an existing Presto web customer, it is an add-on to the website, like Josh mentioned. But that being said, the price is subject to change as more functionality and enhancements are added to it. Okay, the next one, will you have a template or a cheat sheet to ask AI questions?
Yeah, actually in the help center, I have been building that. If you just go to help.prestosports.com, there is an article, you click PrestoAI and it's the how to use PrestoAI efficiently. There's a lot of, questions in there. There's a lot of teaching you how to use it and how to ask it questions. And again, you're welcome to, it's not click the generate article once and that's all you get. You can play with asking it different questions. You can play with how you word things and see what it gives you. Almost treat it like an assistant. How would you explain it to your assistant of what you want? But yes, there is a help article already that lists some of those.
There's a couple different prompt questions that came in. For season summaries and end of year summaries. I don't know if you have an example of a prompt to enter for that yet. It might need to be added to our to-do list. If you don't have one.
It is on our to-do list for season summaries, as in a drop down. So you can take a season XML or a season summary already, and put it in the prompt and say analyze the data or analyze the XML data and recap into an article. So it can already do that, but Just copy the right data over. You don't want to copy the XML for every game. Just do a season, some of the stats, the team stats, however you want to do that. Depending on whatever data you give it is what it writes.
So that I assume would apply for like season previews. You're including some of the highlights of the players returning. The same for like a game preview.
Yeah, that's something we're trying to figure out how we want to do. We can feed it the schedule for previews. We can even give it a roster with maybe some career stats. We've started the ability to handle career stats across players if they're coming back. We're trying to figure out the best way to feed that data in to tell it to do a season preview or even a game preview. We can give it the information like the teams, the date, the time, the location, even wins and losses for the season. But past that, what data should we give it? So we're currently building what type of drop downs we want, and that's where we're at on that.
Okay, I'm going to look at this question from Chris Maxon. How do you write a game summary for an away game using PrestoAI? I'm assuming it's the same as long as they're loaded into your schedule.
Yeah. You can actually say, it'll have the location on the box score. Also, you can even tell it, hey, I want it in the perspective of your team. So for example, within that, say, hey, I want a detailed article in the perspective of this team, and it will give it more information from that team than the other team.
Okay. I'm gonna one question. Can you show a sample that better employs AP style? That was from Dave. I think Dave will follow up with you on that one. We don't have a sample handy that has AP, but you can also go on to the demo that will be sent out after the call. It is a little bit more limited in the characters you can enter, but you should be able to test it out, but we can connect with you on that one.
Yeah, just to give you some quick information about the demo, it limits you to 250 characters, whereas the full version within Presto Web allows you to enter closer to 10,000 characters. Also, it only allows you to use it 5 times a day. The full version is unlimited. But you're able to tell it, hey, give me AP format to try it out. I can even, again, we'll follow up with you. We have your information. We'll follow up with basically a sample of what it is.
Yeah, and a similar question came in from Brandon for an example of a small sport with smaller stats. So Brandon, we'll follow up with you on that, or like we said, you can take advantage of the demo.
Yeah, it does. I will say it does basketball and soccer actually fairly well because there still are a decent amount of stats in that. Volleyball, it has less stats. So it might, for example, if you were to ask it the box score and put the volleyball box score in there, it may not give you a lot, or it may, as I said, how it puts in stuff that it sees in similar articles, it may fill in some of those blanks, so to say, and then you can go back and read it and edit it.
Okay. So I'm gonna have 2 that are kind of related. The first one, the feature is not currently available on my Presto backend, which we use through our conference. I assume you have to be a full Presto member to utilize this feature. So it is, you should see the button there that says Presto AI. However, the conference would need to purchase Presto AI. And as mentioned, you can do that through the form we send over after the call or through our Shopify account. And similarly, there was a question, if we use Presto Stats, but do not have a Presto website, is it available for us? That was similar to the previous question, a previous question. At this time, it is an add-on to a Presto website. So you would have to have a Presto website in order to have it integrated.
Just to add on to the conference question too, some conferences do stat-only sites. On those, they may not have access to it.
Oh,
So if your conference is stat-only, it doesn't do releases, so it may not have it on there. But we would have to probably look at your individual conference site. We may be able to add it on there. As far as sidearm integration, we do not do that.
okay. Man, David fixed the Q&A and all of a sudden we're getting blown up. So, is it able to write double headers as a game 1 summary and a game 2 summary, or all together?
So that's a little tricky. We talked about that. We thought about within baseball having another option of double header and then have 2 drop downs for events. We're still figuring that out. What you could do for now is that you could have it write an article for one and then have it write an article for the other and then just put them together. It does know the term double header. So technically you can take the 2 articles and say, read the 2 articles below and recap them as a double header. Now that's something I haven't tried actually. So, but it does know what a double header is. So that's worth a try. But either way, it is on the list of stuff that we do have to figure out for our phase 3 of this.
The next one's an easy one for you, Josh. Any chance it can read from a PDF of stats provided by another party? I was thinking it'd be an easy one. As long as they can copy and paste it, it would be able to.
Not necessarily. So I had to teach it how
Okay.
to read the XMLs and I had to teach it how to read our box score format. Tim, if you could, we'll follow up with you. Depending on who the provider is and the PDF, you could try just copying and pasting it in there and it might be able to parse it because I've taught abbreviations, but we can follow up and I'll get a copy of the PDF and try it out and send you back what it gives initially. And then I might be able to teach it the format and we can go from there.
Well, I thought it was going to be an easier one. Okay. One question, why do you have to have Presto Web if you're using Presto Stats? We have a sidearm, for example. At this time, it's built directly within our Presto Web editor. So there's no article release editor, as Josh alluded to, on the stat site. I don't know, Josh, if you want to add anything to that one.
Yeah, so it's only on wherever the text editor is, which is all in the website section. It's not in the game day at all. I will say that within the website, it's not just on the release articles. It is also on like camps. It's on your awards. It's on player bios, things like that. So anywhere in the web section that it has that rich text editor, you will see that Presto AI button. But with Presto Stats, you don't have access to the website section because there's no website. So you do not have access to that. Now, again, long term, we plan on making a standalone version that will integrate with all of it. But right now, it's mainly to help save time writing these articles and quick recaps.
A question from Roger. How randomized are the articles? Are they generated articles unique enough to keep readers interested without sounding like they came from AI?
Yeah, I will say, as long as you keep your creativeness a little higher, like 5, 6, those articles will keep being new. It'll sound different almost every time. I can tell you as many times as I tested it and been working with it, each article can sound a little different. It'll put sentences in different ways. It's interesting. Now again, it mimics what other articles it sees. So if there's a certain format, it's going to put it that way. But with that creativeness parameter in there, it does help with the dryness and repeating itself.
Okay, one question that came in: if a conference stat purchased AI, would it be available to the individual schools? So it would be enabled on the conference site. However, if your conference wanted to have a discussion with your CSM, we could look into pricing if all of the schools wanted to have it set up on their individual sites.
Yeah, it's the license is per site, so it would only be on your conference site. But again, if your conference want to talk to the schools and talk to the CSM about doing like a bulk across the board, we can have that discussion.
Can AI generate the recap with just one's team stats? For instance, a junior college, some teams enter their own stats, and if the second school hasn't added the information, will it still write the story?
Yes. Again, it gives you back what you give it. So if you only give it one team stats, it's just going to give you one team stats. I definitely suggest giving it as much information as you can. So, player stats during the game, things like that, so it can write a detailed article. But yes, it can write from one side. It just repeats what you gave it.
Okay, and then last question that's currently in there. So how would you get it to write an article about track or cross country?
So track and cross country, of course, are not network sports in our system, so we don't have box scores, so to say. But you can just give it 1 or 2 sentences or even some bullet points of things that happen at the meet, and then you can say generate a article, and it would generate based on what you have. Now, with your creativeness parameter higher, you're also able to go back and edit it with things that it may have filled in that it sees on articles like this. It does know terminology for cross country and track, but you just have to, fill in as much as you can. If it thinks you should put something else in, it will suggest it within the article.
Okay, Kurt sent in a question, Josh, about your second favorite product. Will PrestoAI eventually integrate with Score Shots or Presto Sports to build graphics into the stories?
Funny story about this. That's the first thing I built was image generation AI. The technology just isn't there yet. Or at least not decent for this industry, I think. We can ask it to build background images and things like that, and that'd be fine. But making the whole image with text is tough for AI. You'll notice with a lot of these these AI images that you see out on the web, they don't have text. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed that, but it's hard for an image generation AI to add text and have correct spelling and things like that. But that was actually one of the first things I tried. And long term, maybe. I won't say no. Anything is possible. But as of right now, it's not on our radar to add in.
And just to kind of follow up on that, however, Presto Shots is integrated into Presto Stats. So your scores, your stats, your halftime, your game information is already integrated into that platform. It's also a good segue. 3 weeks from now, our next session will be all dedicated to Score Shots, Presto Shots. So if you're interested in learning about the social graphics platform that we have, we'll be diving into it on that call as well. Okay, any other questions before we sign off today? We appreciate and love all the enthusiasm, all of the questions that have been sent in.
Yeah, this is an emerging technology, and being able to train it, you don't know exactly how far it can go. So usually I try to make these presentations a little smaller because I know there's a lot of questions. And I definitely appreciate the questions because it gives me more ideas at the same time.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. As mentioned, we will follow up here within the next couple of days, a recording of today's presentation, as well as some of those links we mentioned. Or as mentioned, you can go on to prestosports.com, and at the bottom of your screen, there should be a prompt for some information on AI. Otherwise, we hope you have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your week. Thank you.